and all, I still think is going to be a rough one for the Washington Justice. And we're now sending it over to our beautiful casting duo, Mitch and Matt. How are you guys feeling?
Oh, it's good to be back here on the other side of the patch break. I feel rejuvenated. I'm sure some of these teams probably aren't because they've been grinding these new comps every single scrim. It's a different setup apparently, but I like that. I like a bit of chaos.
They've been building up stamina to play to get 3-0'd on Flashpoint map. So we'll see how teams get adjusted to that. Jake, how would you build up stamina to play? We don't have Jake anymore. I would love to know his workout routine to build stamina for Flashpoint. But
just deathmatch for
we'll
5 hours straight, Matt.
Okay,
just
5 hours straight.
5 hours straight. That's or play against bots for like an hour. That was my old routine. 60 minutes of tracking bots. Also gives you
I thought teams are going to have
recommend that.
Players on treadmills running out there in the heat, get build up stamina, get ready to go.
Yeah, get them out there in that Atlanta swamp heat, let them really feel it. Let it seep into their bones. Oh my goodness. I mean, to be fair, shout out Jake, because anybody can do shoot bots for 60 minutes has an attention span that probably outdoes most of our generation by far in this day and age.
Yeah.
But not sure if that's been the plan for the Atlanta Reign here. I think they're probably hoping their opponents offer the same resistance as bots, but we know the Washington Justice have got some tricks here. It's time for some of those upsets, maybe, that Gator mentioned. Sorry.
Well, we did also
in this game.
We did hear Gator also mention that we're going to be seeing all new things from them, which we have the same roster that we've kind of seen from them a lot of the time in. So curious on what we see from the Atlanta Reign here at the start. I still think obviously the heavy favorite, right? I think the Justice, this meta probably favors them a little bit better, but still top to bottom, I think you think Atlanta is still the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, hard to argue with that. They ran a gauntlet of top Overwatch League teams a few weeks ago. It was Houston, Florida were in there as well, and of course they managed to get through the Boston Uprising. That really is going to forge your team and help them go to the next level. It's the kind of gauntlet that Atlanta Reign were asking for, wanting that level of competition. So it's time now to hit the field on the other side of our patch break where, like I said, much has changed. Not only is it Atlanta's first foray into this new metagame, it's also, and some of you have heard this one before, it's Operation Get Hawkeye a W3 Electric Christmas Tree.
well, not
get him a dub.
Not gonna have any. He's won games this year, Hawk. It's not like he's never won a game. No.
Well, the issue was obviously he often would get subbed in for Circuit Royale, right? Where we know he's an incredible Sigma player, but we saw the composition shift away from that static poke composition, just playing around Sigma Shield. We saw Junker Queen, we saw more aggressive looks, and Atlanta's record on Circuit Royale, not great. It was probably one of their weakest maps, and it's one that they, specifically brought Hawk in. Now, that guy's got adamantium mental. He survived through many years of, grueling tasks in the Overwatch League. But, that was just a stat we pointed out saying, hey, we do see a lot of 3-1 series as Atlanta tend to stumble when it came to that map. May not be an issue here, of course. But, hey, if Gator's given us anything to go on, we might see him. We might see Vigilante as well. Someone who...
Potentially.
Often come in on the Zen, right? Plays a really nasty Zen. Don't know if that's going to be the sort of option here. But we also get to see maybe the best backline in the world, again, trot out after Houston to show us, some support gameplay. Maybe Ilari in the mix here on some of these maps. It'll be Antarctic Peninsula. You'll notice that New Junk City will be our Flashpoint map in this series.
Yeah, I think, seeing New Junk City will be quite interesting here, in the West. When you look at the series kind of layout as well now, Mitch, right? The Flashpoint right into push, like two very fast-paced, more of the deathmatchy style game modes. I think you'll even see, as time goes on, like those 3-1s actually end up being like a win on Hybrid, a win on Flashpoint, then just kind of take that like fast deathmatchy playstyle right over to push, and end up winning the series there. So we'll see now. Maybe some Lifeweaver. I know, me and you were watching a series. You're like, man, we hope we get some Lifeweaver today. Get a big tree in our lives.
Yeah, I need some big trees, man. Yeah. Look, I mean,
we got Wheels mode, we got Big Tree. I mean, we got all of them now.
We got everything we need. Yeah, it looks like Chio on the Lucio here.
Okay.
Gator mentioned there might be less Lucio, but I think in a pinch it still gives you a heck of a lot of value. And Fielder on the Ilari, that'll be great to see as Teru as well, heralded as a more aggressive support player, will be on Hero 38 as well.
So typically we've, I was going to say we've seen the Ilari mixed with like a Baptiste, not really much with like a Lucio. where you see the Atlanta Reign, they'll switch off of that right away. So they'll play Krigo Lucio with the 76. So Liv mentioned no more having to insta lock on Sombra the entire time. Soldier feels so strong right now.
Now, of course, on live, the healing pylon gets nerfed a little bit because it accounts for 63% of Alari's healing, apparently, as was pointed out by one of the devs. So they've brought that in line a little bit more, but still Alari very powerful at mid to long ranges, especially when the damage is concerned. So far, though, it's going to be Fielder falling first here. It's Flora under a lot of pressure from Chio, who backs off once Teru starts firing.
So the healing from her pylon is very strong, but as well as like her right click, like the alternate fire heal, you don't get a ton of it, but the amount of healing it does per second is able to really kind of bring somebody back from just kind of like the dead, so to speak, really fast. And I don't know about you, I've been playing a ton on live, and you're able to do so much damage on Alari. It's like having another DPS in the mix.
Yep. Imagine Cassidy existing in a game that Alari's in. We said this before the show, like that's gotta feel pretty bad.
Also, because she's really support, she gets health regen as well. It's like,
yeah, passive health regen, don't worry about it.
Like Cassidy is like a character from like, the original Call of Duty, and Alari's like the one from the Call of Duty in space where they can fly.
Yeah, super soldier, exactly. Jetpacks and everything. Speaking of jetpacks, it was Donghak using his to connect with Flora there. The Atlanta Reign haven't been able to take the point back here, but dealing with the Soldier 76 playing the periphery has to be at least a window in here. Teru firing some shots over towards Lip. He opts to play from the low ground here. Captured Sun getting fired up, but Teru now having a chance to get good use out of it. Donghak laying waste to the Washington Justice here, and eventually Mira will be dragged down.
So I think this will be the real challenge for the Justice composition. Like when they get control, right, and they're just be able to sit there and kind of play from a static position with all the turrets, the immortality field, that's where you think it can really pay off and be beneficial. Like how do they get aggressive with this composition and move in?
Yeah, we need to see Mira obviously set up with a way to access the Atlanta Reign, maybe bully them off the high ground, transition from there. Donghak more than happy to give it up as it forms part of his plan to approach the Justice from the rear. Here comes the Primal Rage here. Some degree of disruption is in order, but the Fortify on Mira makes it very hard to move the Orisa. They found Teru though, and there's nothing he could do. Even Outburst is going to help him get away from that one. The Terror Surge at least secures the trait. Stalker had the blade out and was swinging, and is served up on a platter. But the Atlanta Reign in the meantime have been able to make up much of this deficit in capture percentage now. It's 46 plays 56, and the fight's far from done. It's got to be an Ant Matrix thrown up here. Lip knows it needs to respect it to some degree. Molten Core popped as Alpha now getting down and dirty in this side room. It's going to be Chio though cleaning up Flora. Alpha still has some health to spare after the immortality field was removed. Chio's going to have to get out though. It's the Justice grouping up as Donghak is brought down first, but the Reign still control the point. It's going to be attack visor now from Lip to try and swing things back, and the Justice have to hide in these side rooms. Alpha's lost the turret. Teru taking a risk picking out here as he deploys that healing pylon.
Yeah, and the Justice don't need to push into this tactical visor, right? They can just wait it out a little bit, and they do. So now Mirror and Co push onto the point, but man, the amount of damage that was going down from the Reign inside of that close quarter area to the Justice was massive, but just the amount of healing with the pylon, the alternate fire, the immortality field, Batista's ability with like AoE healing, like it's just so much that the Justice is able to stand on really throughout all of that damage and come out pretty healthy.
Teru has the outburst still wave, but the dive from the Atlanta Reign is good. Alpha Yi is flattened. Now the Reign back up. They say get rid of the Torpion. Is a huge part of our plan. Yep. Clem crucial there as the Captain Sun came in, but that gets staved off by Fielder. Great answer. That's something we're going to see more of going forward, is that debuff from Captain Sun is very scary.
But is it enough? I mean, you get rid of that debuff, and now you're just losing players. Mirror has been proven very difficult to decide from the point as Stalker gets hit. The spear, he will end up falling, so the Justice still alive here.
And Washington in a decent position now to play around this Amp Matrix, get a decent position on the high ground and make it hard for Atlanta to push into them. The Dragon Blade here for Stalker seems good. Last time he pulled it out, he was caught inside the Terror Surge and blown asunder.
Now the Justice was an opportunity to win this one, right? You have this Amp Matrix here from the high ground. Should be able to use this. Just what angle do they want to try and get with that?
Right now, the Justice are happy to wait for the Reign to approach. Mira can obviously respond with the spear. He's taking his time. They're trying to circle around, and he's out of the fight. In the meantime, though, the Atlanta Reign know exactly where they need to be. That immobility of Orisa hurting Mira there. Couldn't be where he was needed, and the Reign took full advantage of his absence.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he was like trying to wrap around. It looks like potentially a pause here from the Atlanta Reign side, but he was trying to wrap around. But the Primal Rage combined with the Dragon Blade up on the high ground, anything that you were going to get with that Amp Matrix there just went out the window. I mean, you lose your Illari, you lose the Baptiste right away.
And the Atlanta Reign's intent is pretty clearly telegraphed, I think, out of the gates with the composition that they chose, the roster that they brought in this lineup. No surprise to see Donghak on a Winston-esque setup. That mobility is powerful. Maybe individually some of these heroes, less of that overall healing perhaps. Maybe don't want to get caught out against the Soldier as he plays the flanks. But when they're all able to come together on a dive like that, this sort of poke, this extended brawl setup that the Orisa composition offers you can fall over. It's tough for Illari when she gets dove. I mean, yeah, she can outburst away. Tough to play around the Winston.
I feel like you need the Orisa there on the high ground, right? Like, the ability to fortify and just be a large body, soak up some damage. The spear to deflect things coming in, displace players. Like, Mirror just going on that long flank. Even if you got something,
like, what is he looking for?
Still, yeah, I don't know.
It's unclear. He opts to. Maybe he thinks he has an easy kill. Maybe a flank opportunity on a low health target.
He's looking for clips for YouTube Shorts.
Score.
Great.
Trying to farm a clip.
Well, he's in one, but he's in the kind of clip that, a good friend Sideshow might be featured in when it comes to gameplay. Maybe not exactly what he's hoping for. A flank that doesn't pay off well at all. The Mirror's caught in like a 1 versus 4, 1 versus 5 using Terror Surge at the end of the round. Something's gone horribly wrong. Being able to, stand in the way of the Winston, redirect him, stop him in his tracks, that seems like one of the hugest elements of counterplay that the Orisa setup has against the dive, and we're harping on it now. I don't want to beat a dead horse. The Atlanta Reign did that at the end of that round. Enough for us. Washington Justice not getting their comp to pay off. But now we're going to a bit more of a pitch battle setup. We do have the Orisa mirrors here. Teru, though, will be on the Ana. Key point of difference here.
And I think for Atlanta, like, if you're going to see them change up, like, some support line, I think it's probably without Chio in the game, right? I know Chio plays just a ton of Lucio. To see kind of like
Lucio and Brig, right?
Yeah, see like a double flex support look would be kind of odd with this roster in, is that they get a quick TP here right on top of Flora and take him out.
Well, here's the idea, right? You try and ameliorate that lack of mobility that Orisa comps have by using a teleport plus the Lucio speed here. Atlanta able to catch the Justice by surprise and kind of choose where they want to end the engagement from. Teru is on the off angle, caught off. There's not much he can do there. Yes, Donghun will be able to escape.
Well, teams are doing this with Reinhardt, right? Like just TPing the Reinhardt around the map. And when I say teams, really just the
teams is still on the Spitfire.
Yeah, so and it was working really well. And I think Orisa just is so scary. Like she is just so much survivability that I think getting her in the mix, especially with the spear, being able to like pin players to wall, stun them, it's brutal. As Mira now goes over to the Zarya.
Are you trying to set Alpha Yi up to be able to be more of a presence? Yeah, give the Alpha Yi bubble over. Mira middling charge here, now being forced back as Flora just got pounded. There's no static structures that can be used defensively here for the Justice outside of Mira's bulk. And obviously that so being impressive.
The Atlanta Reign don't necessarily need to just run into them, right? Like I think if you are going to play like maybe a little bit of a defensive Zarya, right? And you have that bubble for somebody gets like caught out, like, oh, they're chasing down Flora, you're able to, bubble in, maybe get him some healing at range, like, great. But, like, they don't necessarily need to take that fight. Like, they can play a little bit further back if they want.
Donghak is 8-2 after a huge round on the Winston. Difference of playstyle here, and it's another first kill for Chio. He's always involved. It's an absolute pylon for the Atlanta Reign. And Matrix support here. It's going to be a Genji coming with the blade. Chio quickly tries to redirect Alpha Yi, but eventually will be cut through. Yeah, this is Alpha Yi with the blade, everybody. Going to be a javelin spin to try and force him away, but he's already got what he came for. 2 key kills at the start of that fight. Can't really argue with the blade.
Yeah, and Chio just doesn't have sound barrier built up at that time. A little bit of it's probably due to the fact that, like, nobody was really taking much damage on the Atlanta Reign. Like, he was just, maybe just going to stand there with speed. He was able to pick up, like, 2 final blows, I think, during that. But still just not a lot happening where an opportunity doesn't really arise for him to, get an amp healing, get some, ultimate charges. They go straight to the point and use the sim wall.
I mean, the sim wall blocking the Justice off the point. They can't contest, let alone fire back at the Atlanta Reign right now, so they have to give up the point mid-fight. Sound barrier going to be used, but Alpha Yi goes down before he had a chance to benefit from it now. They are barreling forward. The Justice are getting flattened. And Donghak, ooh, man, that is a nice finish with the Javelin. Mirror falls here. And I'd be scared if I was Zarya. There are two abilities in play that can shut down a Graviton Surge if not used judiciously.
Yeah, and how crazy is this that that's attack visor that gets popped there from the Justice, and typically the response is everybody tries to run away and hide, but that the Orisa just spins, gets right in the mix. There'll be a touch there from Flora just to trigger OT, but it does not look good.
Great way to shut down the attack visor, fill up that soldier's field of view. You can't lock on to anyone else at the time. Graviton Surge, okay, but there's an immortality field in play, and that actually kept Chio alive through the duration of that ability. Stalker's blade looking a little more blunt for the time being, but Alpha Yi's living dangerously. Trying to get up towards Fielder, but he's very low, and Chio will make sure he finishes the job. The Atlanta Reign, convincing start here on Antarctic Peninsula.
You know, some support players want to be like DPS and do damage from a distance, but Chio just doesn't care, right? Just solo speed boosts himself on in, able to pick up some kills there in our second round.
Some kills. Some. He has 10 final blows. He has the most kills on his team. 10 of 27 final blows for Lucio. Some kills.
Yeah, he's got some kills. Atlanta, I mean, they looked phenomenal throughout that, right? Like, they don't have to play Sombra. I think anyone who kind of thought that, like, oh, Sombra is out of the mix and now Atlanta's going to struggle, just lying to themselves. Like, his team is just so talented that, like, you know, there's an argument, right, where other teams can't just run the Sombra against them and just, you know, win fights off of an EMP, that, like, they're going to be even harder to take down.
The Justice playing with some new shiny toys in terms of supports. We saw Teru attempt the Alari. Chia says, no, Lucio, that's the only one for me. Shows us exactly why this guy's an absolute front runner for any kind of accolade that he would be eligible for. Fantastic stuff for the Atlanta Reign. Two very different styles over both those stages. Both the Orisa and the Winston shells look very solid, and you expect them to have a solid mid-town as well. Stick around. Let's see how it all plays out. Well, hearing from Gator in that interview video at the start of this match, he said maybe there's less Lucio going around right now. And after seeing this couple of rounds from Chio, that saddens me. This was a masterclass. The involvement in every single team fight from Chio, just exemplary at finishing off these kills. These low health flankers trying to escape from the fight. He made sure nobody got off scot-free.
I mean, really, thinking about, like, since, you know, the transition to Overwatch 2 and 5v5, like, there really hasn't been a point where we haven't seen, like, Lucio. Like, the ability to just give group speed is just so important. I know the ability to kind of, like, bunker up and be a little bit safer, not really around, as we take a look at some of the stats here from Chio in map number 1. Like you mentioned, 10 final blows. That's a ton for any support player.
Yeah, I mean, the closest was Donghack on 9, so Chio doing an excellent job of chasing down some of these players. When you're going up against like Genji, Soldier 76 compositions, you do need to chase down some of these these mobile flankers if they're low. So Vigilante does get subbed in. Chio, unfortunately, hits the bench after that great showing, and now we start to see a little bit more of what the Reign have been cooking in these last couple of weeks.
Right, so if you wanted to play Alar here, like there's on Midtown a ton of different like great like pylon options, right, where they kind of have to push into you to gain any type of access. You can sit and poke from a distance with safety that you're going to be able to get healed and they can't destroy that pylon. So possibly that's what this sub could be.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it a little bit at the top of this game, but this persistent healing element that you require line of sight of to usually dispatch is extremely powerful. You talked about maybe teams wanting to bunker up a little bit less, but when they do want to play close together, Ilari is just fantastic at that. In those poke compositions, or maybe you want to be a bit more defensive, you have to really commit to get rid of that healing pylon first, and it almost operates like a sixth player in some senses. It can be a problem to deal with. So again, seeing Vigilante here is great. There's a question of whether it's Fielder that'll be taking that role, or whether Vigilante comes in prepped with that plan and has been putting in the reps on our newest hero, or if it's something completely different. We've seen a lot of Life Weaver also pop up here and there, but we might have our answer already.
Yes, we will see that setup here from the Atlanta Reign, as they'll actually play the Winston with the Torbjorn and the 76. So we'll see how they kind of make use of this on defense. For the Justice, still some opportunity to make some changes. This would be quite odd, like a Junker Queen Alari Lucio. Yeah, I imagine there's going to be significant changes to what the Justice decide to run, but curious to see how Vigilante handles this here for the Atlanta Reign.
So the Winston on defense here is still a great option, right? Because you can play from that high ground really safely and reposition in a pinch. Just drop down, give him a tickle, head back upstairs, and Bob's your uncle. Curious to see how Vigilante plays, whether they're trying to play in a position to do as much healing for Donghack as possible or not. Here we go, though. We are taking the more circuitous route here out of the gates, so we don't get poked down.
Yep, TP, get this Bastion in position, and oh yeah, Stalker. I mean, dude, the nade on Bastion, right, with this new update, I mean, it is so strong. I mean, Stalker, no opportunity to live there. So now you think you get this Bastion set up in a good spot. The Justice can take this first checkpoint.
Yeah, you see Donghack wants to try and hold the Justice at bay, but he's taken far too much damage already. And this is a set play, and what a strategy we see unfold from the Washington Justice. They stay out of line of sight for as long as humanly possible until it's time to strike.
Yeah, they close that gap right on top of Stalker and take him out instantly. I know with some of the damage from the rest of the team, the Bastion grenade, and now the Reign are going to be forced to switch. And look at this, we're going to have a Doomfist set up. So Doomfist with an Echo. Full changes here pretty much for the Justice too.
Well, we talked a little bit, really heard about it in the previous matchup, these seismic slam changes here. Donghack again still wants to be able to play from the high ground. Maybe he also wants to be able to have impact on more flatter areas of this next part of the map. Be disruptive as much as possible. Set up these kills for Stalker. That's a problem. He's done.
Yeah,
absolutely toast.
Not going to be too disruptive there as he gets slapped, bio-grenaded, killed instantly. But Fielder responds with a kill on Alfie.
Pretty key kill to take, because it's very hard for the Justice to contest that high ground for the time being. You know, that Mirror obviously on that Winston.
Well, now Donghack's back to Winston, right? He probably only switched to the Doom, and yeah, I mean, they're back on the Torbjorn, so clearly it was a response to what they saw originally from the Justice, but now
there's no Bastion now. Yeah, there's no Bastion now, so like, you know, Donghack can actually play a little bit more aggressively here. They can use Stalker to try and control the periphery a bit more effectively, and Vigilante will play close range heals make it very, very hard to push into this part of the map. So with this avenue denied them, the Justice have to take the more direct approach, perhaps sending the Winston up, trying to dive, play around this nano boost.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they do have the nano here for Mir whenever he decides to go in, but that'll be the nano here used by the Rain on the Dung Hack, and he gets really low, just backs out, doesn't even really build up towards Primal in a big way.
Yeah, it's the Bionade from Teru there. I think they kept Donghun alive. That was Donghack's target. Here comes the nano this time for the Justice. They're going to take the high ground comfortably. Now forced back though. Mirror's here with a Bionic Grenade, and the damage is real. Stalker's having to finish the job, but Flora also moves into position to benefit from that height. And he's found 2 already. The Soldier 76 in the perfect position to find value. And Lip tries to respond here with a tactical visor, but he's taken low, and the healing pylon's not enough to keep him standing. Flora's popping off right now. That's got to be 4 kills in the fight. 2 with the attack visor of Flora with a dirty finish on Donghack will get the Justice to the next checkpoint.
Oh, I mean, Flora went absolutely crazy during that fight. I mean, he was picking up kills at the beginning, and then even Vigilante ends up using the Ilariel to capture Sunrise and gets like 1 player. I think Donghack, capitalized that and blows him up. But now we're having more changes. They're gonna have Vigilante playing the Brig, so the Ilari not working out here for the Atlanta Reign.
Yeah, getting rid of that one. The Reign probably don't feel like they have nearly enough room to get value out of her. The entirety of the Justice stay out of view until they pounce and use Flora in the positions that are vacated by Mirror and that dive to really do the final damage.
I mean, you have the sound barrier, Mitch. You are going to have a Primal Rage and Pulse Bomb. You're in an opportunity here to set a tremendous time if you're the Justice, right? They're just pushing the Reign further and further back in their spawn. This has been a really bad look from Atlanta.
Yeah, this is looking like a really uncomfortable composition, maybe metagame right now for the Atlanta Reign on this map. They don't feel like they're set up for success. They haven't got any value out of their, the Winston and Ana combo, which was their bread and butter, prior to this patch. And Alpha obviously with that, oh my goodness, that was a quick headshot and melee kill there from Stalker.
Well, the primary fire from Torbjorn, right, with this new update shoots way faster. You can kind of see it there. Also, like the switch between the hammer and the gun is faster, so you're supposedly able to keep the turret alive a little bit better. But just the damage from the primary was already pretty good, but now that you can just kind of like spam chokes with it, makes it even stronger.
And up close, right, the secondary fire is still devastating. Pretty easy to quick pick up clean kills with that. Molten Core is available here for Stalker. We're still looking to see how these teams make use of the Ana Winston setup. That Nano Winston, no, it's actually going to be Flora coming in here. Gets a Nano, attack visor, that's a scary combination. Stalker being kept alive here by the Nano himself, and Luka gets in the way. It's Donghack offering himself up as a sacrifice to keep the rest of the Reign standing, but that may not be nearly enough as Mirror wants to double down with the Primal Rage. Rallies in play, Mirror gets blown to smithereens. There's a chance here for Atlanta to regain a foothold behind this shield of Vigilante, but Alfie's lurking at that high ground. Gets hit by the shield bash stun, but still well entrenched behind the setup of the Atlanta Reign here. Donghack tried to extend forward with this Primal Rage now, and this is where the Reign get back in the fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, Atlanta, even though you lost Donghack there when the Primal, the tactical visor was coming in from Flora with the, Nano, you're able to just stall for enough time, with the rally to be able to get him back in the fight and then have Primal to stall it out. So you were never really in a situation, I think, there from Atlanta towards the end where you were really worried about giving it up. And now that you have the Lips tac visor, you're in a spot where you can maybe hold this out for the next 2 minutes.
It was a snowball. Definitely looked like it could have been over pretty quickly. The Atlanta Reign have to use a lot of their ultimates they banked up to stop the relentless advance of the Justice. Teru has another nano boost build up that is very quick here. Giving that to Mirror, causing some problems would be deadly.
Alfie? Blade, maybe? Yeah, here we go.
Yep, gets it. Doesn't have to Blade right now. We'll pull it out. Oh my, that tactical visor shuts him down. Alfie not aware of just how quickly his health bar could dwindle, but let's make sure of that.
It was also like pretty readable what was going to go on there, and there was a lot of space between Alfie and the rest of the Atlanta Reign, right? Like it was not in a spot where he was going to get that dash and maybe take out like 2 players instantly. He had a lot of space to cover, so not able to keep him alive on through that as Alfie now will switch over to the Torbjorn.
Stalker, yeah, showing us why the Torbjorn can be so frightening. That one looked like it was from longer ranges here as Alfie is forced to back on up. Look at that rate of fire. That is nice.
I mean, that plus the turret, right? I know you can overload, right? You can get, that extra, bit of health and damage. So The Justice now farming up another nano rather quickly here. So Teru, I imagine this one is for Mir, although we have seen them give it to Flora with that visor.
It's so fast. That is so fast.
Really quick.
Here we go, attack visor. Liv gets one himself, doesn't have attack visor though. How do you stand up against Flora in this situation? Flicks around, it's an easy finish off on Stalker, who was low, but eventually Fielder's able to bring Flora down. There was enough healing apparently for the Atlanta Reign to withstand that nano visor. And the Reign are going to push them back again.
Like, you know, with a team as good as Atlanta Reign, like when you kind of have them on the ropes, you got to take advantage of it. And I feel like the Justice, up until this point, they were really taking it to the Atlanta Reign. I mean, Flora was popping off on the 76, and right here, Atlanta is just held tremendously.
The Justice have switched to Sojourn. Flora opting for a different hit scan option, at least on the railgun aspect. Vigilante's going to be holding on here to this rally, straight into the fray should it be required, but wants to try and control these side angles a little bit more. Okay, Lip went low there, but Vigilante is on the scene straight away. Alfie's lost his turret at the start of the fight, and he goes down. Stalker is dominating in that Torbjorn matchup, and this will be attack visor to end the round for the Washington Justice. Mira has nowhere to go as Atlanta plant their feet.
Yeah, that round ends in a little bit of a whimper, right? In the Justice, you know, you have your Tora Bolt there around the corner. It looks like Mir just pushes in, and then Lip and it looks like no Dunghack just come around the corner and just be able to take out like 2-3 players, and there was no bounce back there from the Justice at that point. So they do make some decent progress here towards the end of the map, but still had a big opportunity, at least in my opinion, to complete.
Yeah, and what happens there? I think it's an occasion where they send Flora in with like a nano visor and they don't find anything. They try it twice.
Yeah, I mean, they also tried the nano on Alfie, which did not work. So it just seemed like they really had a difficult time getting like much value out of it, right? It didn't seem like, you know, Lip, and I believe there was another. Yeah, I believe Lip actually got the nano like once, even outside of you know, the tactical visor, just to be able to kind of keep him alive and just put damage down on the point where, you know, at least they're kind of getting value out of just keeping him alive, putting some more damage, pushing them back. The Justice didn't seem to really get much value at all.
On average, Teru is generating his ultimate 15 seconds earlier than Fielder, which at this level is quite considerable. That's like 20% faster based on their ult charge times. And that's why we were seeing it so often from Teru. That can also be affected by how long people hold ults for as well. But yeah, that's pretty nice.
On defense here for the Justice, this is the type of comp I kind of expect when you're going to run Illari, right? You're going to play like a Torbjorn, you're going to play an Ashe, and on the other side, look at this. We got a Life Weaver Ana.
Well, weave that, bro.
Bastion, so the Life Weaver pocket's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Big Tree gives that over health now.
It's like Rally now.
It's really hard to kill the thing. It's a big tree. It's full of life and
I mean,
vivacity.
you have Bastion around Big Tree, right?
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Obviously, and they've increased like his primary fire heal to 75 as opposed to 65, I think the threshold was. So, I mean, generally could do a heck of a lot there with that output. So, Lip, again, unsuccessul.
If this doesn't work for Life Weaver, if this update doesn't work, I mean, I don't know, they gotta... Maybe you give him like an LMG as a secondary fire. Just give him like 200 rounds.
So that shield, I believe, they also brought in that extra shield for Life Weaver to account for his large hitbox. But you still hit him.
And the heals on the dash, right? So you get like
the
health loss plus like the shield regen and the healer regen. So they definitely made it harder to kill him, but he's already out of the game.
Yeah, no, he's for the time being struggling with the poke damage getting put down by Check's notes. Alfie, that Torbjorn's been hard to deal with. Flora as well, and a very comfortable pick. The Ashe here, it's going to be quite powerful. So the Justice really turtling up with a very defensive setup. Of course, they have the Illari and that Baptiste here. Hard to break this.
And this is where I think you're going to get sick value out of both supports, right? And you can play a little bit more of an old school traditional bunker style. And look at where the healing pylon is. It looks like it's like up there on the scaffolding. No, right, like in that park building, the parking garage.
Yeah, tough to get rid of that. See it on Terry's screen, there's an indicator. They go, oh, okay, I like the outburst there to try and disrupt, but it's not enough. Vigilante just blew Flora up instantly. Terry all of a sudden found himself on his own. Mira very low. They could have brought the Arista down, but it wasn't enough concentration of fire. Even through Terror Surge, Mira could have died there, but instead he gets a freebie. Donghack, though, got rid of Donghun. It's starting to break down into some chaotic engagements right now as the Justice realize they need to regroup here.
Yeah, at least they just need to get Mirror, you know, all healed up. You'll be able to come back in the fight. You're going to have Bob. You're going to have the Tor Bolt here, so you have some stuff to work with, potentially not give up checkpoint A.
Katsuna Rush thrown down here. The Justice being forced to fold away from him. The Primal Rage also makes it a bit complex to try and walk up and pick his spots as the defenders. Donghack wants to control this very small point of ingress.
I think you probably back out now, right? If you're Washington, I mean, you lost your tank. Mirror's not exactly the fastest to get back in. Okay, Alfie actually jumps on.
Oh, I don't know about that one, Matt. I don't know about it. Bob, I think Bob got stuck inside that corridor. He came out first, Matt. They tried to send Bob to the point, but I guess you can body block him, right? Because he just sends you up, but then he stays there. So I'm pretty sure Donghack just tanked the hit from Bob, and the Molten Core was fine from Alpha, but he was the only player who forced his way past Donghack and got blown up.
A part of me was like, oh, maybe they switch off of this, right? Like, oh, you're going to kind of like throw some ultimates in. If you can hold it, great. If not, you'll just change. But it looks like you're going to kind of continue on with this. Lip is going to play Widowmaker here.
Okay, they are long sight lines and there are no static shielding options for the Justice and no dive potential. And there it is. Flora thinks he has control of that space, but Lip has other plans. And now what do? We've started to see Widow creep in a little bit more here, and when you have these long sight lines against non-diving compositions, it's pretty robust.
Yeah, especially when they kind of want to like play in the open and just poke and do some damage at range, right? Widowmaker, the ultimate kind of range character, can just one shot from really it feels like almost any distance is getting a good hit. Well, I mean, that is like just a pixel of his head.
Well, listen, given Torbjorn's stature, his head hitbox shows earlier as he tries to walk out of that corridor.
That's what you would look like as an Overwatch hero.
You think so? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I do Moonlight as a short person, though. You know, we'll see what it's like.
An ultimate where you just scream really, long words and just deafen everybody.
If it has like the same effect as like Outburst, then I'm cool with that. That could be fun. I'm good at repelling people, you know.
Instead of the turret, you would just drop a big microphone and it would just amplify everything. So now we get a good old Widow matchup, right? Here towards the end of the map. It does feel like though, I mean, what Lip's gonna have Infrasight here. You're going to have the Kitsune Rush.
Well,
like a huge advantage coming around the corner.
Flora's also playing against a Winston, right?
It's also true.
I don't think you're opting into much more, a more comfortable arrangement than Lip is. There's a lot of threat there that, for Flora, and also with like Infrasight in play, this car is moving for free. It's moving for free, and here we go. Guess who dives on Flora? Donghack heads towards that left-hand side room here.
He's got
just cutting the sidelines down. He doesn't have to kill the Widow. Just stand there, and that means that the Roost is ruled by Lip from there on out. Here's a Molten Core of the card. Captive Sun into the Terror Surge. That's a combo and a half.
Yeah, that is a filthy combo there. As does feel like, I mean, both teams really here just kind of threw everything at that fight. So what I'm interested in here is, if you're Atlanta, do you consider switching away from the Widow and just going like full dive and just trying to exploit Flora now? I mean, you're diving also into the Torbjorn, which doesn't feel great. Same with the Ilaria and the Baptiste, but it's definitely a path. Okay, we'll get Zen. So
you double down in the poke direction instead.
Yeah.
We feel fine about that, right? I mean, with Sombra not a factor anymore, and Flank is being weak on virtue of Torbjorn being so strong, Zen is very reasonable, right? We've seen a lot of teams try and play Zen in like these slower matchups anyway, where there's no real up close and personal threat. I mean, Discord Orb is massive here.
Yeah, just keep Harmony on the tank and then just focus on your Discord and just burn one of these targets down. I
think Flora wants the fight to start properly before he pops the Infrasight here, but it has started. Field has been felled. Flora's got a very safe position in this train cart, albeit rather telegraphed there, evidenced by the bullet whizzing over Flora's head.
Yeah, and he has Infrasight for when the next fight kicks off, so you also do have the Tor Bolt here too, so you're in a good spot if you're the Justice. And now what? A minute left. Atlanta looks like they're going back to spawn. This may just be like wholesale changes.
Play dive. Just you have to play.
Yeah,
you have to contest with the Torb though.
So let's see.
Okay.
Oh well, the floor is the inputs. Like, you know exactly what's coming at him now.
Well, he has to because he sees nothing happen for a while. I think he was probably holding it to counter Infrasight. But now he's seen this comp change. The Justice gets so much time to figure out whether they're going to play the Tracer. The Reaper, okay, for Flora. Wow, what a switch up.
Yeah, so just a little bit more like frontline damage, but it's still, it feels like Reaper, right? You can get like hit with a Discord and taken out really fast sometimes on Reaper. That is a TP straight to the car. And,
oh my
goodness. Before you can even get this off.
It's literal Snowpiercer. That is literally what happens in the movie. Yikes, alright, Fielder, TPing on out here. This is scary. Has to drop an Immortality Field now. Mira's too close to see that widescreen TV. Just sees the little red, blue, and green little...
Still, that is so scary. The Immortality Field saves a ton of players there. As you're going to have another fight here, I think, for the Justice. Teru should be able to get on and contest.
Here's a trans... Oh, the Javelin spin forced away. And Teru is denied the chance to prolong the round inside Transcendence. Oh, my golly.
Players did the Javelin spin just knocked back? It looked like the entire team. He just stood in the choke and just spun. And
well, that's the great thing about that ability, is that if you all stand together, you all get knocked back by it. Stop if you've heard that one before.
Yeah, I mean, that is a rough way to go out. I feel like the Justice, they played quite well in that map. If there's a, like, you know, if you're on the cusp of a 3-0 loss here to the Rain, I still think this is a lot of footage here on Midtown that you can look back on, that you did a lot well.
Yeah, absolutely. The attack was great. I really think that the Justice played their win conditions, and they also go up a gear when they realize how much of a snowball opportunity that they have. The attack visor from the high ground, or just the high ground setup for Flora was excellent here. We see the Atlanta Rain able to salvage things towards the end of the round here. Sorka looked very good. And this is Alpha Year, trying to obviously go on with the blade. Attack visor silences him there. That was a nano invested as well.
Yes, it was really, I think, where the Justice end up losing it is like on their attack. Like, they had a ton of time to finish the map. I think even they had like more time than the Rain, but just was not able to capitalize it. And Atlanta is just too good. I mean, this shot is crazy. Like, not even sure intended to hit him.
Anybody else, that would have been a kneecap. That's all I'm trying to say. New Junk City going to be up next here as we head to Flashpoint for map number 3 and a chance for the Atlanta Rain to put this one to bed real quick. 0, new meta, same old Atlanta Reign. It's back to business for one of our very best teams in the world of Overwatch with a 2-0 lead so far in this series. Although, Midtown had some interesting moments. And I'm not going to lie to you, the Washington Justice really showed us some of what they're capable of on that attacking side. They just couldn't convert the momentum they had early in the round into even a map completion.
Yeah, I mean, they had an opportunity to, right? I thought they were in a pretty good spot to do so, just kind of fumble the bag at the end, so to speak. Chia will come back in here for the Atlanta Reign. This, I think, should be a direct sign that you're going to see just kind of Lucio the entire time here on New Junk City.
And again, for Flashpoint, that makes sense, right? The ability to get back in the fight quickly, to transition between the points. All these are very, very important. New Junk City is, I mean, much like Survivor, is big. It's quite a wide expanse to cross, and sometimes those walkbacks from spawn can feel pretty punishing when you're sent packing. So I would expect to see Donghun on that same kind of hero here. But again, great to see New Junk City showcased here a little bit more. You know, it must have been taken from Geelong. I'm pretty sure it's just Geelong from Australia, if I'm honest with you. But again, here we obviously have our points, our 4 different points, or 5 rather, excuse me, with the arena being in the middle. The Ducks, Refinery, Junkyard, and the Bomb Flats. And all of them offering some different context around which you play. Or the Bomb Flats, obviously, you know, an open point from 4 different directions. I think Junkyard is a really interesting point that has that causeway that teams may fight for, and that high ground, and then that depression where the point itself actually is.
Yeah, and you know, Ducks and Refined have high ground, low ground type of play, right? So a lot of different variation here on this map in terms of what you're going to see in terms of hill you know, diversity, and then also if you just kind of take a look at that big mini map, those green squares, those are where the teams will spawn. So depending on where the hill is, no, it'll impact where your spawn is, right? So no, you don't want somebody spawning all the way on the other side of the map, somebody right next to the hill.
Yeah, I will say, like, one of the things about Flashpoint I've noticed is quite interesting is some of the skirmishes that occur in between points. One team's transitioning from a successful point capture to the next, the other one coming off spawn. Sometimes they meet in some very odd locations. We have fights that occur not necessarily around those central points. Now, we may have teams look to avoid some of those in a safer strategy and just look to play the points and keep everyone together. But that's something worth bearing in mind. There is a little bit of footwork that needs to occur between these points as you transition. Even if you win the first point, you may not be in the best position to start at an advantage on the next one.
A lot like you know, Call of Duty, right, where you have hardpoint, where it's a lot of rotations from hill to hill, and you know, moving from different spots, right, and you want to get some cutoffs. Like, there's a big opportunity of you know, if you lose a support, right, you know where the other team is spawning, you have the opportunity to kind of like spawn camp, you know, as people are moving to the next hill. Do you want to move directly to the next hill and take the fight there? Do you want to try and cut them off like halfway there, surprise them and take a big fight? So I think a lot of different gameplay will be had here on Flashpoint. I also think you're going to see this game mode change, you know, and how teams play it over time in a big way.
One of the interesting parts about Flashpoint, and something that Gator alluded to on that Gator's Corner edition, is that it feels sometimes deathmatchy, right? You don't always have the opportunity to fight under idealized 5 versus 5 set play attacker defender circumstances. Sometimes you just have to fight for your life to even get to the point in the first place. Remember, of course, it's first to 3 in terms of these capture points, as we have 5 of them to play through, and as was alluded to, I think, by Pelican, sometimes these rounds can go long. Really test your stamina.
Sometimes they can go fast as well, though. We'll see here. The Rain will come out. They'll TP and play the Lucius. Same here with the Justice, but they're going to go back to that Junker Queen Bastion comp.
And of course, starting in the arena here. So we'll see both of our teams work their way towards that key objective here. Plenty of, I guess, cover to play around in these parts of the map here. We have Baptiste Lucio setups. It's going to be a Junker Queen for the Justice. Very on theme. I love that. It's a flavor win from me. Does it have the bite that it might be indicated by the bark?
I also love the work that just they've done with this map, specifically this point with like players dying inside the arena and whatnot, and that is really fast here from the Justice. A really nice take.
Yeah, I don't think that's how Houdini was supposed to perform that trick lip. Just gets absolutely cut in half. Absolutely brutal stuff there. The Justice again making use of a burst of speed available to them from their commanding shout to close the gap and destroy the raid.
Yeah, and now let's see how long it takes for the Rain to get back. I think one of the things the teams realize, or maybe looking at, is like Lucio is really impactful in this game mode because it gives you like an extra fight or two over the point, because the percentage does tack up pretty quick.
Turrets in play there, annoyingly. Stalker is out by one of those briefly. He spots the Bastion. Who does he go for here, though? It's going to be the Symmetra, looking a little bit less durable on the front line, but the Immortality Field's going to come down from both sides. Alfie, there's going to be knocked straight into the Thunderdome and isn't in a great position to participate in this fight, but everyone's ignoring Mirror right now. He cleans up Lip again with that Carnage, and Alfie with that bouncing grenade deals a lethal blow to Chio.
It seems like they're really trying to focus on like getting rid of Alpha Yi, but it's just Mirror in the mix, able to just stay alive and put down so much damage on that Junker Queen. Is gonna maybe have one more fight here. They need the TP to actually even gonna get back for this next fight, so that'll give you like 3 good fights.
Flora's got a wall in play. There's not much defensive architecture for these Symmetras, Matt. And it won't be quick enough. Yep, Stalker doesn't get to the point in time. So the Justice win this first one. The winner of this next fight will have priority on our next flashpoint. It opens up in 30 seconds. So the Atlanta Reign here looking to group up, maybe just to get out of this fight. They're interested more in playing around the objective, but Flora overextends.
Oh, that is a huge rampage. Soundbarrier comes in from Chio, and it looks like the Rain will end up kind of wiping and taking this fight. Let's see how this impacts this next hill, though. Like, are they going to get control of this a little bit earlier? Are they going to have to still... I mean, there is still a little bit of an unlock here. So they will get control first. Let's just see how much percentage is actually, worth in the end.
The Justice here will be a ways away yet. Probably be at 10% plus before they start to get a look in. Here they are. Okay. Mode, let's go. Here comes a Mortar Strike. Nobody on the Rain affected by that, though. Lip keeping a respectful distance and poking with the orbs for the time being. It's Flora getting taken down first. A Terror Surge. Ooh, Dog Hack. The trigger discipline just to back off, and now he gets the player and the symbol to stay alive. Sound barrier for the Washington Justice. They're really committing on this one, but they get nothing forward. They're staying back again, and now they're forced to play with 3. This is looking disastrous on this point for the Justice.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe you decide to blade after, but it doesn't even really seem like you actually have to, as Stalker will finish Mirror off here in the end. So just that fight in between and then getting this first fight, Mitch, I mean, look at this. You're going to be above 70% as... maybe one more fight here for the Justice. They got to get everybody, grouped up, but still, you see how fast these Flashpoint maps can go.
Yeah, I mean, very quickly. That capture percentage ticks up vastly quicker than on a control map, that's for sure. I don't know what the Justice can really do here. You will barely have a chance to... You've got to go to the low ground here, so that doesn't feel great either. Commanding Shout used, a boop attempted there, but we will be contested. Donghack is in such a great spot to play around this corner, and they can't touch. When you have to physically be on the point, there's not some overtime that ticks down slowly. No, if you're not touching, you're going to give it up. And now the Justice will be thrown into the meat grinder, one after another. They're going to make awful good mulch here. Shame it's a desert out there.
Man, that is almost worst case scenario, right? You want to get in there, invest, try and get another fight. Alfie will switch off the Bash and go to Genji. But you don't even actually end up going over there and getting a touch. No.
Junkyard.
Down. Yeah, this one is the one with the top causeway, so this will be really interesting to see. Nobody has any hit scans, so maybe not the hugest thing to fight over here.
Yeah, that high ground, it's kind of unclear about who that really benefits more in this situation. It means Fielder has a decent... Oh, the TP on the high ground. Well, okay, the Justice really fancy it. They throw down the net matrix, and very quickly the Rain, they split. Here's a sound barrier for Atlanta, though. They're going to want to take the fight here. Back to the high ground. They go with the TP of their own. Mirror not in the action right now, but he's forced to be with the Terror Surge as Donghun gets sucked in, and he disintegrates.
The first point went well for the Justice. It has been all Rain ever since. This might be the opportunity, though, right? You're going to have sound barrier. You're going to have your own rampage. They do not have a sound barrier on the other side. So potentially an opportunity here for the Justice to get a fight win.
Again, a lot of these teams really making use of Symmetra to get themselves a decent staging ground to start these fights from. These turrets are going to be annoying. Eventually, they're cleared. Commanding Shout, Chio overextends, dives into the back line, and now he's being chased down by the Justice. I cannot believe he got away with that. He just led all of the Justice away from the point. With the symbol in play, the Justice had no option.
But half of the Justice turn to go try and get rid of Chio. Flora actually TP'd to the point, and he drops.
It's not good. The Justice getting split now. Rampage came out there. The Rain looking a little bit worse for wear. The Air Matrix not enough for Fielder to keep his team alive. They're eventually able to bring him down. So the Rangers need one more fight to take this back.
The Justice will flip. Flora now moving away from the sim. He's going to go play Ash here. So Atlanta, what do you have to work with? This is going to be a pretty dry fight for both teams. Alfie with an opportunity, if he's able to farm a blade here and then win this fight with how fast the point ticks up, you have another fight maybe here for the Rain, but Alfie is blade and the Justice in a position to take a 2-1 lead.
Now remember, the Justice don't need to be on the point to accrue capture percentage like a hard point game mode. You don't want to think in COD terms, so they want to play this choke a little bit more here. Get some value out of these dynamites, maybe the sim turrets to some degree.
Heat around it.
Yep, the Rain circumvent that defensive setup here, but the blade could be good. Fielder inside the Immortality Field, dude, that slows Alfie down, but is it enough? He's able to very quickly transition into 2 more kills. And so the Atlanta Rain, I think they'll be staved off once more on this assault. Alfie with a massive performance in that fight, 4 kills on the Genji.
And this is like one of the main differences, right? Like you see a player straggling out in the open, you want to go try and stagger, but Chio's back in the action.
Here comes the play. The Justice being forced to fight off the point. This is bad for them. Stalker finds a second and a third, and there it is. The Justice, they overextend. There's a touch just in time. Chio's going to get to the point, and it does take a while to cap these points up here, but Donghun is down. There's no mobility left for the Justice. We are in overtime at the very least here, but they won't have a chance, and that'll be another flashpoint going over the Rain.
But that is like the kind of thing you look for in this game mode, right? Where the Justice, they kind of had that right. They wanted to punish Stalker. They knew he was kind of out in the open. You know, maybe we can make a play for him, but they just aren't able to take him down fast enough. Chio comes there, saves the day. He blades. As Stalker does, ends up picking up 3, and then Chio's able to get the touch. This will be interesting. It looks like Flora on the Sombra is like kind of behind on the opposite side of the Rain, so maybe trying to set up a dive.
Looks like it's time for Refinery for what may be the last point here. It's an odd little map, this one, with that pit to fall into. Not somewhere you want to find yourself, that's for sure. Here comes the Kitsune Rush now. Miro wants to be front and center here, but has to go around that dangerous pit. Of course, the Luscos pose a threat in that regard. It's going to be Alfie falling first. Fielder's been able to find him from decently long range. And there's Donghak shoving him back out the door with that javelin spin. Terra Surge now for a little bit of that extra durability, and of course, that key ultimate nuke. Not much Terra can do, but look on from the periphery. It'll have to be a full regroup here from the Justice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even if you're Donghak and you don't get like a kill with that Terra Surge, at least it puts you back in Fortify, right? It allows you to gain some HP back, allows you to be a little bit sturdier. This is going to be brutal for the Justice. I mean, they're going to walk right into this Amp Matrix, but you do have Flora with this EMP. It's got to be good.
Sombra is back. She's back, man. Oh, goodness. EMP, Fielder, trying to get the Immortality Field out, though. Amp Matrix also thrown down. Hopefully somebody can make use of it. If not, the Baptiste himself. Donghun and Miro both get brought down here. Donghak's able to find that elimination. And what position are we in right now? The Rain still control the point. That's still ticking up here. And they're going to chase. They're looking for the Sombra. Flora gets out.
Maybe, but they're going to lose Alfie, and he's so close to the blade. I don't know if you're going to have... It's going to be just probably Flora to get a touch, yeah.
Yeah, just the one touch. Who else can stand up here? Donghun goes for the sound barrier. Optimistic, I'll say that much. He will keep overtime going. The Fielder giving him the slurp down now. So Moira is on the scene. And it will be the Atlanta Rain to take the series away. Frenetic fighting on our last map in this series, but they still demonstrate their supremacy.
But I see why they like Flashpoint. And Gator was talking about how they're a team that really likes the mode, as they are able to just get in the mix, take advantage of other teams' overextensions and slight mistakes, where really once like Chio and Stalker, kind of made that play happen there, where they get back into Junkyard and end up flipping it. I mean, that was really the map.
Yeah, it was like a stagger that Chio was able to avert. They're able to save Stalker, I think it was, and all of a sudden they put their foot on the gas themselves and they go for it. Great turnaround by the Atlanta Rain there, and I don't think the Justice were ready to be taking a fight in that position. They were not really set up for it there. A good look at Flashpoint, though, and that series went by pretty quickly as the Atlanta Rain have a comfortable time.
They just thought that it was going to be Stalker there and they were going to be able to chase him down and get a kill, but then Chio comes flying around, gives him a little bit of healing, ends up booping those players back. Then the blade comes through and everything just falls apart for the Justice.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed to see the Atlanta Reign. They've definitely been working on some of these new compositions a little bit in the break. And the Washington Justice as well. We have to go back and look at Midtown and say, hey, their protocols were really solid here on this map. Like many teams, they're getting a lot of value out of the Soldier 76. Nano Boost now has quite a few more different candidates than just the Winston. There was a Nano Blade, though, from Alpha Year, and I feel like watching that get shut down is where the momentum got brought down to 0. And that's where the Atlanta Reign can get their claws in and slow the game down.
Yeah, I mean, again, it may not look like they lost the beat, going into a new meta. It does not look like it's going to be they can't play Sombra now, everything's like lost, right? I think they look really strong there against the Justice. Excited to see them against better competition as we move on.
Let's look at player of the match here in this victory for the Atlanta Reign now as they propel themselves towards a postseason. It's going to be Donghak crowned as your player of the match. Again, can't argue with this in that first map. Even though Chio had more final blows than him, Donghak was absolutely everywhere. Showing us that the Winston, on some maps that allow for this sort of, give you room to express that mobility, still very powerful.
Yeah, and I thought his Orisa was good when they needed to play the Orisa in that like kind of mirror matchup at times, or even just kind of mirroring the tanks. Thought his Orisa was very good, displacing players with the spear spin there. Really kind of ended up winning them Midtown, but a really good overall game there from Donghak.
Yeah, we can see a play out here. His Orisa stats pretty frightening. The Terra Surge kills, of course. He found a couple of big opportunities to make use of that ultimate here. Nothing special, no combos with the Illari ultimates or anything like that. Donghak also making use of that ability because it gives you Fortify, right? So when he's low on health, he needs to sort of turn the fight around. You think you're about to kill an Orisa, and all of a sudden, the fight gets turned on its head, and you're on the receiving end of that Terra Surge. Not a situation that anyone really wants to be there. And this is good. The Atlanta Reign, we saw them struggle through some very hard matchups over the last couple of weeks. Now, though, from here on out, it's smoother sailing. They have time to really get their ducks in a row for a strong postseason campaign.
Yeah, I mean, they look primed to still have a really strong postseason campaign. I think sometimes we've seen like metas and patches at the end of the season really kind of throw teams off, but I think Atlanta just too talented top to bottom to let that happen.
No doubt about it. Good to see him in form, though. That's what we want to see from a team that we're expected to vie for the crown in the Overwatch League this season. We head to a break, everybody. When we come back, we've got one more match in the day, but first, we'll have our experts break down another dominant showing from your Atlanta Reign.
That's right. Atlanta Reign is taking it 3-0. A swift victory for the guys in gray and red. And the Cacas. And if you want to represent them or any other team in the league, make sure to grab your team jersey. Right now, they are on sale still for up to 20% plus. Free shipping in the US on orders of $100+ and 10% off when you sign up for Shop Overwatch League emails. That's right. So make sure to get yours. Address is on your screens and rock the colors of your favorite teams. Do it now before the grand finals, as you, of course, will rock up in person.
Be showing up in the swag.
And I mean,
exactly. Buy them all just in case.
And I think right now is the best time. You get 20% off free shipping and then plus another 10% off when you sign up for the Overwatch mail. So it's right now. Like, if you don't get it right now, then you're...
I mean, what are you even doing with your life, actually?
You get it right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of death, there were a lot of that for the Washington Justice.
Yeah.
It was.
They tried. It was, Flora's back rubs.
Guys, the talent.
They did some magic.
It did some magic.
Was there.
It was 100% there. The talent was definitely there. Back rubs did help to some extent because Flora had a good game.
Yeah, him on that Soldier 76, I think. It was the back rows 100% that that sort of helped him try to get the kills. But honestly, I think it just wasn't enough against the Atlanta Reign, whether it was the dive mill or even on the Orisa as well. Just Atlanta just looking solid.
And Chio is just nice on this Lucio, putting in the work. And we got to see a little bit of Vigilante too when Atlanta did bring out the double flex support here on Midtown. I think overall the biggest surprise for me was just not seeing Hawk in the lineup, but Donghak, he's been flexible all season long. No one, it seems to really, at least none of the strong teams, aren't really leaning into the Sigma. They're not full committing onto the poke mirror. And so, yeah, it is going to be more of that Orisa type hero where off tanks can play it, main tanks can play it. It's a little bit in the middle. And I think for Atlanta, they're sticking with what works for them. So I can't really question that. It was kind of wild to me. They're playing this Sim Genji comp.
Sim.
This was out there. Like, I don't know what they're cooking, but
it
they're
worked.
cooking.
They cooked.
Won.
Yeah.
And you know, honestly, maybe Sim has that extra utility on a mode like Flashpoint where you want to constantly get around the map, rotate through positions, jump through chokes, right? Having that TP is actually almost always a relevant skill in this mode. So I think, you know, maybe this is actually a very innovative, future-looking pick for the Atlanta Reign. Maybe we'll see other teams adopt the Sim on Flashpoint as well.
Maybe I'll ask Lip about that.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do that right now.
I think I'm going to do that. Let me change up.
Yeah, hate that. Awful question.
Okay, all right, got it.
Go do it. Quick, go.
Thank you, Jake. I actually didn't like my second question. That actually was
Okay.
Thank you. All right, post-match interview. We got Lip on the line to have a quick chat with me. Lip, congratulations on getting that quick 3-0 victory. I do want to start off this interview by asking you about, you know, Atlanta Reign, also, you personally are known to be one of the best Sombras, and now we're sort of moving away from that meta. So how does that make you feel? Are you a little sad that you're not getting to play Sombra anymore? Or are you sort of happy? Are you like sort of done with the Sombra, and are you happy to move on to different heroes? 자, 오늘 일단 승리를 축하드리면서 립 선수 립 선수라면 이제 솜브라, 우리 리그에서 어떻게 보면 최고의 솜브라라고 어떻게 말을 할 수 있는데, 아무래도 지금까지 계속 솜브라를 항상 써 오시다가 이제 현 메타, 새로운 메타 들어오면서 이제 솜브라를 못 쓰게 돼서 좀 아쉬운 면이 좀 있으신가요? 아니면 좀 이제 이제 솜브라 할 만큼 했다라는 좀 이런 게 좀 더 큰가요?
솜브라를 안 해서 좀 많이 아쉬운 것도 있긴 한데, 근데 너무 시즌 내내 솜브라만 하면 재미없으니까 저도 다른 영웅 자신감도 있고 하니까 딱히 아쉬운 건 없고 오히려 더 저한테는 이득인 것 같아요.
I do feel a little bit sad that, we are moving away from the Sombra. But of course, if we play Sombra too much throughout the whole season, I do feel like that's a lot of Sombra being played. So in a way, I am very confident in all the other heroes that I need to play. So it sort of is a benefit for me to move away from Sombra and to showcase other heroes as well. And talking about other heroes today, I think we saw a very interesting pick from you, especially Lip. I think you were playing Symmetra on the new Flashpoint map, the New Junk City. What was the thought process of playing Symmetra on that map? 자, 방금 이제 좀 다른 영웅들을 좀 보여줄 수 있어서 좋다고 말씀을 하셨는데, 그거에 대해서 좀 이렇게 되게 좋은, 어떻게 보면 예를 들자면 오늘 좀 보여주셨던 것 같아요. 이제 시메트라를 우리 립 선수가 오늘 보여주셨는데, 뉴 정크 시티에서 시메트라는 좀 어떻게 해서 이렇게 가지고 나오시게 되셨나요?
원래는 이제 저희가 심해는 안 했었는데, 근데 오늘 워싱턴이랑 남극에서 이제 시메트라가 좀 되는 것 같아서 그냥 오리사 심해 한번 해보자고 그냥 오늘 딱 당일날 짠 조합이었어요. 네.
It's something that we sort of figured out today. We never really practiced the sim in our composition, but in Antarctic Peninsula, we were using the sim, and it sort of worked out. So while the matches were being played out and going into the New Junk City, we sort of talked about it and saying that the sim might work against the Washington Justice. So it was something that we didn't practice, and it was something that was improv. And at the end, it really benefited us to get the win. All right, that is it for interview. Lip, thank you so much, and again, big congratulations on getting the win. 자, 승리 다시 한번 축하드리면서 보내드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Lip from the Atlanta Reign, another W on the board, showing that they remain one of the greats. Nothing has changed.
There's actually a legend play that I think someone might be able to pull off in the Overwatch League, which is you can use as Orisa's ult, the Terra Surge, get the spin up to like a really high percent where it's like almost gonna just pop, and then you can sim TP her into the enemy team, and they just all blow up and like. So
make it happen.
I don't think it's. I wonder if it would work. Like honestly, I wonder how. Like it's such a weird, rare interaction. But honestly, hey, don't get out there, guys. Get out, get spinning. I want to see some trick plays.
Get spinning.
Like Life Fever. I want to see Life Fever like pull in the Orisa spin into the enemy. I want to see some creativity. It feels like there's a lot of creative heroes in this meta.
Yeah, right. So you heard it at home. Kids, if you got some sick plays and keep on spinning, make sure to send us your clips over on X. So horrible. I can't. It's not my fault. I didn't name it. Anyway, make sure to send them in. Hashtag OWL2023. And we will happily take a look. Maybe even show it on broadcast.
Yeah.
Why not? If spin was good enough, then we might do that. Now, we will be talking about our next match coming up, Gladiators and New York Excelsior, after this quick break. So don't go anywhere.